Yes, sir. We're back here, Print Factory, round 2 with Big T, DFS, aka Big Man, aka Big
You
Wayne,
forgot the
aka
44 again.
me. What?
You
You
said it
ruined my
wrong.
intro.
Unbelievable.
You ruined my intro. I was going through all your names.
You didn't say it right.
I know I was going to get to the at Big T 44 DFS at the very end, but you fucked it all up. You ruined it. That, Tony, you're supposed to be the one that has a little composure, okay? That's not me. That's supposed to be you. I'm supposed to come out hot, and then you're supposed to kind of like calm things down and relax me. Tell me to just chill out a little bit. That's my job, okay? But I think you're a little on edge, or you're likely a little on edge after last night. I don't know which one, but
There you go. Nice.
I see that face red right now. Tony, how are you doing today on this Friday?
Likely dropped his ball bag right on Big T's forehead.
Right on Big T. Yo, remember this. Remember when I was telling people about how I bet likely first touchdown and how I bet him anytime touchdown? And I was talking about how it was 6-1 and such a good bet. And Tony was interrupting me the whole time as I'm trying to give out these winners. He's interrupting me. He's making fun of me. He shit on my picks, blah, 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 blah. Well, likely owned your ass, and JSU owned your ass, and I'm here for the victory lap of likely owning your ass. I'll tell you right now, when you didn't respond to my text, this man, let me tell you, we talked prior to the game, right before the game started, we talked. After the game, or during the game, I sent him one text. It literally just said, likely played a lot more in the first like drive or two than like we thought. That's good. And no response. No response after the game. No response this morning. I mean, I was worried that this man, like, he didn't wake up. Like, I was worried he wasn't going to wake up or something like that. And then luckily I saw you posted a bet on your Twitter at Big T44DFS where you posted your teaser. So I do want you to talk about your teaser because I want you to, talk it up here on the show. Even if you don't want to give it out, you can say, go to my Twitter. But you did post that teaser, but that was like, oh, okay. At least I know he's alive after last night.
I mean, I was fine. I had the Chiefs and the under, and the total pushed. The funny thing is, I didn't love the total. It was 47 when we were on the show, and it somehow falls exactly 47. Could have lost that though. It was probably better overplay than underplay, but the Chiefs look good, and yeah, likely. So I got two stories too, because after we did the show, I had to go. Emily had a volleyball game, so I was going to the volleyball game in between. And I call Rubio just because I want to talk shit, just like I did to you. And I call him. I'm like, "How can you guys play likely? I'm just making fun of him, just like you." And he held his ground like he always does. And he's like, "Andrews is so dusty, and likely's going to be the number one." And I made fun of him even more. I'm like, "You're the biggest donkey ever, Rubio. You and JSU, you both suck. You guys can suck each other and all that stuff." Gave my whole speech, and now I got to take the L. I mean, you guys, you were right. Andrews looked terrible. He looked really slow. Likely looked incredible. You win some, you lose some. I lost that one for sure. I got owned. And the worst part was I got a lot right on the slate. Didn't matter. I was never going to play, even if I liked Likely, which I've liked him in the past. I wasn't ever playing him in the captain, so I was definitely not going to have the optimal yesterday. Even if I liked him, I still had a decent slate, lost a little, but like my core was Mahomes and the two receivers, Rice and Worthy. Worthy was my captain, but that was kind of where all three hit the winner. Plus Lamar, the build we talked about from the show was the winner, except it just happened to be Likely instead of Flowers or something that was in there. So it was wrong. And then the even funnier part was, so I talked up Worthy all day, and my mom was in town from Colorado. And so obviously Baltimore scored first. And then Kansas City scores on the Worthy play. And she starts going freaking crazy. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I just won $500, which for her is as much as you could possibly win.
Let's go, Mama. Let's go, Mama T.
And I'm like, what did you win? She's like, I had Worthy for the first rushing touchdown. I'm like, what? What do you mean you had him for the first rushing touchdown?
What was that?
This is,
It had to
this
be.
is the let me finish. So
Okay.
I'm like, what are you talking about? He's a receiver. You couldn't have bet first rushing touchdown. She's like, I heard you talking about him all day on the show, and I wanted to get. I said that's fine. It's a good bet. I like the bet, but how did you win 500 on first rushing touchdown? I'm like, let me see your app. She's like, yeah, I put $10 on it. It was 50 to 1, whatever she said. I don't even know. So I get on there, and it had nothing to do with rushing. It was first drive, Chiefs touchdown worthy. And it was just $500 for her, just absolutely insane. So those were my two stories. Fun game though, just talking about the game. I enjoyed watching the game. Football's back, and football's great. We love all the sport. Me and you love all the sports. We love basketball. We love not baseball as much, but I love all the niche sports, MMA. Football's the best though. When it comes to just nighttime, one game on the TV, there's nothing better than that. It's the freaking best.
Yeah, and it was a great game, honestly, on top of it. Like, it was two good teams going at it. It was a fun game. I think I got a bunch of takeaways from the game. And I'm sure you're going to echo some of them, which is, one, Travis Kelce. I was definitely wrong on Travis Kelce. I'll take, when I'm right, I'll definitely take my laps, but I was definitely wrong on Kelce. I was right on the fact, though, that with all the speed that they got, it was just going to open up all that underneath stuff. I was just wrong with who it was. I mean, Rashid Rice is the alpha. He is the actual alpha, Noah. That has happened. That will happen throughout the season. It's going to stay that way. I mean, Travis Kelce wasn't even thought of for the first quarter and a half or 2 quarters. And I mean, outside of that one catch where it was just like a recess, run this way, run that way, and Pat Mahomes running around, and then he catches the ball. Outside of that one play, pretty much, he did nothing. And I think it was more like he wasn't that involved in the game. The game plan was getting Rice, Worthy, and maybe it was getting their confidence up, Tony. Maybe that had something to do with it too. It was game one. They're young still. They want to build the confidence of those two guys specifically with Pat Mahomes. And so maybe Travis Kelce was the afterthought because of that. But to me, it was clearly Rice was the dude, and then Worthy was the big play guy, and then everyone else kind of fell after those two. So, you're definitely going to be feeling good if you probably faded Travis Kelce in your best balls and stuff like that. But that was one. And then I wrote this in my notes because right under, I'm on the 3-max sheet this year with K. Fallick and Mangone. And so we all have our own spot. And when I put likely in my course, on my main team under it, I put the reason I pretty much just said, this dude is just too talented on a Ravens team that okay, outside of Zay Flowers, and at that point, everyone was saying Andrews, obviously, who else do they have as a playmaker? Rashad Bateman, that didn't work. Nelson Aguilar, that didn't work. Tez Walker wasn't even active for the game. Who else do they have? They have Justice Hill. They have Derrick Henry, who's old. So, Isaiah Likely just had to play more. And when I saw that the first drive of the game, he was on the field the first play, I was like, oh, yes, this is it. They played more 12 personnel, Tony, than they did in the past. I think it was 50% or something like that, which was good. And then the 11 personnel, the first half, I think Andrews, it was 7-1 for 11, which means one of them on the field. And then in the second half, I think it was 8-5 likely. So in the second half, he supplanted clearly Andrews in that personnel package probably because he was making plays, obviously, but that just tells you they think very highly of this kid, and he's going to only get better and better. So yeah, I was pretty pumped about that. Hit a bunch of likely bets. Didn't get my single game parlay, but my best bet that I gave out on the Wednesday Print Factory, Tony, I don't know if you remember this. I said Justice Hill, and at that point his over on receiving was 8.5. I said this is the easiest bet of the game. Just bet it. He went over 8.5 in the first 4 plays of the game, I think it was, or 5 plays of the game. It was just the easiest bet. He played a ton, probably because of game script, but those are kind of my takeaways. Like if you played I played some Derrick Henry. That didn't work out. They didn't really run the ball as much as I thought they were going to against the Chiefs either. But yeah, they lost the game. Likely's toe was out of bounds, and you move on to the next day. But I would have liked to seen it gone to overtime, Tony.
It wasn't going overtime. They were going for 2. Our ball always goes for 2.
That's a good point.
Honestly, I wanted overtime too, just from because I didn't have the nuts, but I was pretty close to. I needed someone to beat likely captain, and I could have won because I had everything.
You probably needed another worthy bomb or something like that.
I needed somebody to get in that captain spot over because all my teams were like right in range. I just didn't have the likely captain. So, but if he would have got that touchdown, I mean, it would have probably minted him up anyway. So, totally get that. And then I had where was the dude up top? Guy said, we've talked about this with the flow chart. I even talked about it with JSU. I want to put it up. There's just no data. I hate putting stuff out that I don't believe in. After I get a couple weeks, I feel good about it. Even though you need like 6 weeks to like actually have data. I don't think I'm going to put it out this week. I could put it up with just some names from last year. I just don't feel good about it. I don't like to put it out unless I believe in it, and I wouldn't believe it in but like it said below, flow chart comes out a couple weeks, we need some flow, we need some sauce to go in there before we can put it out. But believe me, I love putting that out. It's gonna come out this year. I just don't think, even maybe next week I'll do it, even though there's not enough data after 1 week. I can still at least kind of put it together and give something, but I'd say after 4 weeks is when it'll start to be more.
Chat, I tried. I said to him, I go, you could just take last year's numbers and let people know that this is numbers from last year, which probably won't mean as much, and throw it up there. But he didn't want to.
Likely on it. Put him in the workbench spot. Likely.
Yeah,
it would be funny if I put that out like that.
Yeah, you should just put likely as the number 1. You can put Rice as the alpha.
I actually should do it just to like troll people. Yeah, put like Rice and Worthy up top too, and just see what people say. Just put it out like that.
All those studs, all those guys.
Be like, I said it was. I told you guys.
What? Anything else stick out to you from the game, Tony? Before we get to this game tonight, like the offensive line
Honestly,
stuff.
I wasn't surprised about much outside of likely. I think the Ravens are due for big time regression. I don't like the receivers. Mark Andrews looks terrible. Likely looked great. But when you get down and Derrick Henry can't catch the ball, you got problems. And I think they're going to be a great front running team, 100%. And this is why they never beat the Chiefs, though, because the Chiefs don't play the way other people play. And this is one of the reasons the Bengals have the Chiefs number, because they can get up and pace with them and keep those points on the board through the passing game. I just don't like how the Ravens match up against people when it matters. And Derrick Henry actually makes it worse, in my opinion. And I know this is probably, people won't agree with it, but I'd rather have Justice Hill, who can get out on the move a little bit. And I thought Justice Hill looked great yesterday. And I just don't like the fit for Derrick Henry. Don't get me wrong. He's going to look great in some games when they just pound the ball and he gets loose. But when you start playing these teams when it actually matters, I think he gets – you can always shut the ground game down, which is why I'll just never value running back. I will never, ever, ever value running back. And that doesn't mean I'm always right. I'm definitely not. I'm wrong a ton. But I just don't like the Henry pickup. And the Chiefs were exactly what I kind of felt like they would be. They still don't have Hollywood, who's going to make it even better, because last night they had to play Juju. They had to play Watson. Kelsey's going to need – I wouldn't give up on Kelsey. I'm low on Kelsey, but I think he'll be fine when they need him. Kind of like the Gronk role, where he'll just hide in the woods for a little bit.
In big spots. And then later in the season,
he's going to be there still. So,
but I don't think he's going to give you the ceiling games that he'd been giving you for the last couple years with all these guys now there. I just don't think those games are going to come as much. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong.
Because I literally didn't pick him in anything. And I got all the pass catchers everywhere except him.
And that doesn't mean like when they get to like the playoffs, Pat Mahomes couldn't like lean on in one game and throw him 12 targets.
He'll definitely lean on.
That's not what I'm saying.
For sure.
But I'm talking the regular season. I think they're going to be more about the team and getting all these other guys than it is just like Kelsey. Kelsey's already done everything, bro. Like, what else does Kelsey need to do? He's already, I mean, not the best tight end for me, but
no one has had a better year or two than Travis Kelsey. Like, let's be honest. And everyone out there might not think Taylor Swift's the hottest person ever. The chick has more money and more fame than anybody. Like, I
you really got to go on this. Yeah, he's dating her because, listen, bro, I saw his last few girlfriends before Taylor Swift. I don't know if you've seen like the highlight reel of his. Listen, those chicks, they blow Taylor Swift out of the water. Yeah. But Taylor Swift, on just fame alone, throws them across this country, literally across this country. Yeah. I mean, she is as elite as you can get for fame, for just fame. She is the famous person pretty much you could date.
I don't know if she's got that ooh-wee. I don't know, Bean King. She might not have the ooh-wee.
I don't think so.
She did look a little thicker yesterday, though. She had a little meat.
Yeah, Kelsey needed a little more to hold on to. He needed a little bit more. You can't just be like skin and bones.
No, you can't ever have bone on bone contact.
Yeah, and Kelsey's a big dude too. Like, come on, he's not. Like, he definitely needs a little more to hold on to. But all right, that's enough of that. Well, that was our one Taylor Swift comment for the hopefully for the year, maybe. But I'm sure we'll bring her up at some point again. Let's get to, do you want to talk about your generational bet? Or do you want to make people just...
the one I tweeted? They got to go to my Twitter to see it. If JSU ever tells them my right Twitter page.
I did the second time at Big T 44 DFS. Okay. You can go there. You can check out the teaser bet. I won't say anything. Just
one game each day too. One game tonight, one game tomorrow, one game Sunday.
I was going to say
3 days, 3 games.
Just so you know, there is college and NFL in there. I'm not going to say which games. I won't do that to people, but there is a college and NFL in this teaser. So that's all I'm going to say so people know. But that's it. All right, let's get to this game here, Tony. By the way, too, I somehow, so the over must have moved because it was at 47, but I got it at 46. So my over bet hit. I was super lucky that my over bet hit.
Oh, you got 46?
I got 46 and a half.
And you won, so we did good.
I got 46 and a half was
that's even better.
Yeah, because you know why? I noticed it. I bet it the night before when we were on the Print Factory, and I said the Justice Hill bet was when I bet most of those bets.
That Justice Hill bet was good, by the way. That one was real good. I honestly, obviously Likely was the best play. And we didn't talk about this in the break. I think Justice Hill yesterday was incredible play. And I wasn't as high on him as I should have been. And that's not based on the stats because he only scored 10 points. He could have scored 20 plus, though. He was an incredible play.
In games where you think that Baltimore is trailing, Justice Hill will be a good DFS play. In games that you think Baltimore is trailing, he's going to be very good for that team. Because obviously, on the flip side, if they're winning, you'll see less of him and more Derrick Henry normally, probably in that scenario. But in games you think they're trailing, for sure. And what'd you think of Likely at 14? I told you he wasn't going to be low. You taught me this.
I know. Yeah.
What you taught me this, even when people are talking about him. If the projections aren't high on a dude, even if they're cheap or not, if they're just not hitting and you have to bump him extremely to get some of him, there's just no way he can be owned. And when I saw 14%, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Because you thought it was going to be higher. Because I remember you saying to me, this was one of the everyone has this take. And I was like, no, it doesn't matter. He's not hitting on the numbers. I tried to give your reason to why you always give me the reason. We had the flip. Normally I'm in your boat and you're in my boat and you're the one telling me, JSU, they're not hitting because the projections are just not giving you them. That's telling you they're not going to be owned.
Yep. It was a mistake. It was definitely a mistake for me. Because when I looked at ownerships, even when we were on the show and when I was saying that, I looked at 3 different sites and it all had them around 10%. And I just assumed, even with the projection being low, that they were just wrong. So I assumed you were wrong. I assumed Rubio was wrong. And I assumed and it just says how stupid it was, because everyone, it was just bad. I don't want to talk about likely anymore.
I love when people say they hate when I'm right. That's my favorite. I love when
I
Chad
hate
says
it
they hate
too.
when I'm right. Look at Tony's face. It's so red. He hates when I'm right too. It's great.
Not red, but I'm mad you're
Oh,
right.
it's red.
No,
It's
it's freaking
red.
red. Don't
Chat,
pretend that. No.
his
I'm
face
as
is
calm
red.
as freaking can be right now.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no
All right,
red.
let's get to my game here. We got the Packers.
Oh,
we got the
First
Eagles.
likely, now I got to listen to you talk about the Packers. Where's your Packers jersey?
Don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry
You rip
about
that
it.
sweatshirt off and you got a Packers jersey on there, I'm gonna die laughing.
Oh, wait, by the way, you gotta write down my takes. Don't forget that. We're doing a new segment, chat. Tony brought this up yesterday. He is gonna guess my takes. He's gonna guess some of my main takes for this showdown slate. So, Tony, show us the paper, the pen.
What did I say? The team you're on, the team you're going to be heavy on. I didn't say
that
players.
all?
I wasn't going to guess like 3 players. It was some specific thing I said. I already forget.
All right, chat. If you remember, tell us, because I thought it was you were going to predict some of my takes, but maybe it was the team that I was on. All right, Tony, write down what you think I'm going to be on for this game, like under, over, the team that I like. Write it down so people know. You'll have that take. Spread right now is 2.5. I think it might be 2. I saw 2.5 earlier.
Long teaser city, baby.
Long teaser city. We got Green Bay is the dog right now, slight dog. I think the money line's like plus 110 right now over on DraftKings Sportsbook. Eagles are favored slightly. Over under sitting at 49.5. So, Tony, what are you thinking here for the side? And then what do you see here in the total? We got a decent total here with 2 pretty good teams, like skill position wise.
So this is where I've done better sports betting the last 5-6 years. I always used to bet these spots like this, and I'm honestly kind of torn on the game. I think it's a close game, but going on a Friday night, the sports books give you a gift. All you got to do is tease this game. Green Bay through the 3, through the 7, 2.5, up to 8.5. Green Bay. So anything you like tomorrow, college, pro. Granted, I like to keep them in the long range, so like Cincy and different games like that. But even if I like the random game tomorrow, like some 14-point spread or something, I would just tease it with Green Bay. So when Green Bay wins tonight, your whole weekend is set up with different action. And one thing I like to do is say I got like 5 units worth of Green Bay, whatever your units are, it doesn't matter. 5 units worth of Green Bay tonight plus 8.5. And just say Green Bay scores first and goes up 7-0. I will make my same bets, and then people laugh at this, and that's fine because this is what I believe in, and I've done good sports betting the last several years. I'll come in and bet Philly at that point, whatever I can get, whatever good price for as big a middle as I can have, and with the exact same games. So whatever other games I'm on, same exact games, and all of a sudden, if it falls in that middle of the teaser and the side, it's golden. Like you're just free rolling the whole weekend with those games you like. And with an extra 6 points is what I meant. Like you get an extra 6 points on all those games. But I mean, Green Bay plus 8.5 is my play. And I know that's not a straight up play, but I like to say what I'm actually going to bet. And that's what I'm going to bet. Green Bay, I'll probably have them in, I don't know, 5 to 10 teasers tonight, all hoping to set up the whole weekend behind Green Bay.
I love it. I love it a lot. So do you like the over or the under in this game?
It's kind of like last night. I don't feel incredible either way. If I had to lean, I would lean under, but I like it less tonight than I did even last night. Philly's D, I'm sure still sucks. I think both offenses are good, but it's in a different country. It's early in the year. I mean, I'm just not betting it. But if you made me pick, I would pick under.
That's the thing that it's in Brazil. Obviously, if you don't know, it's in Brazil. So what does that do? The travel. all that stuff's kind of playing a factor into it a little bit. I'm like you. I like the over a ton yesterday. I like the over again here, but I'm not as high on it. But I'm going to go that way. I'm going to bet it. I'm going to bet the over. And then obviously I love your takes on the long teaser, setting yourself. I love Green Bay here, especially when you're teasing them. So what does that get you? Eight, right, Tony? Something like that?
Always 6 points. So 8.5
6
you're
points.
at right now.
All right. Yeah. 8.5. I mean, yeah, the Eagles, this is going to be a close game, or this is going to be a runaway for the Packers. It's not going to be a runaway for the Eagles. So I definitely like that. Obviously, do you want to give my take on who I think wins?
I mean, obviously you think Green Bay win.
Obviously, of course I do. I mean, this is like the perfect matchup for a team like Green Bay.
I mean, actually, I'm going to write down your favorite plays real quick before you start saying them.
You got
I need a fresh sheet of paper, though, because I got all my college notes on the
Ooh, I just heard it rip, too.
Yeah, it was a lot of college notes, because if you haven't watched the college show, my man Bruce has already grinded 3 slates tomorrow, all kinds of info up. We got Wakey in there. We got Bryce, one of the top players. Third and Schlong is Bryce, obviously. College product is incredible. We just filmed the show for tomorrow's main slate. I got to take notes because there's a lot of sharp things going on in there, and I'm a donkey. The donkey's got to take notes so they remember the good plays. And now I need a fresh sheet so that I can talk about the plays you're going to like, which is the easiest decisions I've made in a long. So how many do I have to write? Like your favorite? Let's do that. I like it. I don't even need more than one. I'll just write. We haven't talked today about this game, just so people can believe that or not. I'm going to write one name down, and I bet I won't even show it till the end of the show. It will be. Should I do it? How can we do it? After you give the play of the day, I'll go like this and hold it up, and we'll see if it matches. It'll be your play of the day. And don't be lying either. If it's your play right now, don't be doing it. Don't be say some random person just to not get
I already have it in my head. I'm not changing it. So there's nothing you can say or do to make me change my play of the day. So we're good. So you write it down.
It's on there. It's circled. Right. Golden. It's ready to go.
Golden.
I'm going to put it to the side by my college notes.
To be clear, is this like my favorite captain play of the day? Or just my
favorite play. There's always your favorite play, your captain,
I got you.
Your guy that's going to be your main team captain guy.
All right, I got you. All right, let's get to, because both of us like the Packers. You said you don't have a real strong lean on over under. You would lean over, but you're not really confident. I'm kind of on that path, maybe a little higher than you.
With the chat, you got to write it down too, so you don't cheat.
I can't believe chat was got. First of all, chat, the fact that you think I have a pencil or a pen or
you don't have a pen or paper on your desk?
Hell no. What do I write shit for?
You got a warm glass of water and no paper and pen?
You couldn't read my handwriting anyways. It's that trash. Dude, I haven't wrote shit down. I don't write shit down. God, it takes me enough just to write shit on this. I got to type shit out for the site. I mean, come on. This is bullshit. Now I got to write shit down. Chat, I don't cheat. I'm going to talk the plays. If through my words, you'll know if you're on the right track or if you're not on the right track. I'm not going to cheat, so don't worry. Should I wait, Tony, just so I don't cheat, should I say it and then you can hold the piece of paper up?
I like Redmond. He doesn't use Excel.
No, I don't.
The most tilted I've been in a long time is when he was at my house. And we could not get anything to work because he doesn't have Excel. I don't know how anyone can play and not have Excel.
I told you. I did. At that time, I had never really MME'd because it's just not my style. I never really did it. And you were like, come on, MME this slate. It's fun. I forget what slate we were even playing. I forget if it was football or
college or something.
College. Yeah, it was college. So I don't even play college. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just listening to Bruce and you and talking about the plays and then whatever. And yeah, I didn't have Excel.
With no ice is the way.
Tony's
more and more people say this donkey stuff to you too. No ice is the way to go. Come on.
God, Steve, tell them. I mean, just Those are my people right there, Tony. Where's Rick Majerus at? Rick, stand up, buddy. If you're here, stand up. So
Rick
Big
was
T
in the
knows.
premium college show earlier. I forget what he said.
Love
He said
that.
something smart again this time, though.
Oh, he always says smart things, Rick Majerus. He's a sharp dude.
Wasn't Uncle T on the cover of Playboy in the summer of '80? That's the funniest thing B-Nair's ever said.
Damn it. Stop showing B-Nair comments now, okay? He's not in the Discord. Stop showing them until he gets
still
back
not
in the
back.
Discord.
If I go in this damn Discord right now and he's not in there when we got
he better be there by week 1. There he
I'm
is.
freaking looking right now.
There he is. There's my guy, Rick. He's now my guy.
God,
Let's go.
B-Nair. I'm never commenting
season.
about B-Nair again. He's not in the Discord. B-Nair, you're dead to me.
Warm water season, exclamation point from my guy, Rick Majerus. I'm ready to roll now, Tony. You ready to roll?
I'm ready.
You don't sound ready. That was some bullshit.
I'm rattled that people like warm water. Isaiah Likely owned me.
I love it. All right.
Trevor Bryan wants the flow. I mean, I can put out like a flow chart. Like, I mean, the problem is that I don't like to put a flow chart out based on any of my own feelings. That's the part of the flow chart. So if I do this, it's like, I don't know how to do it.
You're taking your feelings into it somehow.
And that's the whole point of the flow chart. Like, I don't let my feelings do anything with it. I can't just use last year's numbers either. I mean, I could, but it's stupid. It's a waste of time.
Well, we can only go off of what we know, and you don't know anything this year.
I can literally even do it next week after 1 week. Even though that's not perfect, it's still 1 week of data.
I think you had the good idea of trolling people with the likely thing. You had the best idea.
I actually really do like the troll idea where I just put like Taysom number 1.
Dude, you're gonna get so many comments on Twitter. People are gonna.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. But everyone watching this show can know that it's just a joke this week. So don't fall for it when I send it, because I'll make it funny. I'll put Taysom number 1 and Isaiah Likely number 2 behind him.
I love it. Perfect. All right, let's go to the game here, and let's start at the top. Interesting enough, at the top, Tony, it's not a quarterback. It's AJ Brown. He is the most expensive on DraftKings, $11K on DraftKings right now. You got Jalen Hurts at 10.6 is the next most expensive guy, and then Jordan Love at 9.8, and Saquon Barkley 9.4, Devontae Smith 9K. That's kind of the top tier of the pool. So what do you think of AJ Brown? What do you think of his ownership at that price tag, him coming in ahead of the quarterbacks from a pricing standpoint? Does that suppress the ownership a little bit of someone like AJ Brown?
Yeah, I mean, his ownership has to be hurt a little. The problem is it's not like last night where, I mean, like Jordan Love's not even 10K. So, I mean, you just have cheap price tags. AJ Brown with the projection, it feels like he should be lower owned than I think he actually will. What did Kelsey end up on last night, by the way? I forgot to look.
I think he was 40 something.
It's just crazy. Like AJ Brown and like Kelsey, they just always get owned still. Like, so I still think AJ Brown ends up again. I mean, 50% combined type thing. So I don't like it as much though. It's more my take of the situation at the top. I really like Hurts and Jordan Love more than I'll normally like quarterbacks, just because they can both run a little bit too, and they can pass to a lot of different weapons. So the theme to the show for me, like Jordan Love has 5 or 6 guys he can connect with, and he can run it in on top of it, which makes him a way better. And he's under 10K on top of that. So, I think it's easier to go through Jordan Love than some of the receivers where you got to guess and hope. But some of the receivers are cheap where it also lets you do some different things too. But these quarterbacks for me are just so much better than like the AJ Brown play. So I'm not going to have much, if any, AJ Brown captain. I will have a lot in the flex spot, obviously, because he's a number 1 receiver in a really good offense that I like him. I just don't know if I need to do it through the captain. And like, I can play Devontae Smith for 9K. I love Devontae Smith this year, and I think Devontae Smith will be lower owned than AJ, even at 2K cheaper. So I would rather play Devontae, even though he's cheaper, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. First of all, no captain for me on AJ Brown, just none. I think the price tag is just a lot. Even in the flex though, like you gotta give him a little bump to get a good amount of them, I think. And you brought up Devontae Smith. I just think he is a really good play. So I'm kind of with you on that take. And the quarterbacks, like what you said about Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love, I think they're in really good spots. And Jordan Love under 10K is just, I got to play Jordan Love. I have to
It's
under
impossible
10K.
not to.
And I got a bunch of stats. And yes, that's all right. That's all right. But I'm going to go through all the stats with Jordan Love and everything like that. But just Jalen Hurts, just to start with him, though, his upside when it comes to rushing and receiving. And I do think this year, with no Jason Kelce, you'll see less of the tush push. That's why they went out and got Saquon Barkley. I really believe that, his rushing like touchdowns will probably come down a little bit because they won't do it as much, because as much as that play has to do with Jalen Hurts, it has to do with the timing and the rhythm with the center, Jason Kelce. And it's between the quarterback and the center. So with Jason Kelce gone, I think it diminishes that play a little bit. And I could totally be wrong. And Juergens could come out there and they could just tush push every 4th and 1 and every play near the goal line. And, Jalen Hurts, they'll keep scoring a bunch of touchdowns, those 1-yard touchdowns. But I think Jason Kelce had a lot to do with the tush push. So I don't think we see it as much. That's why they brought in Saquon. But I also think it's going to enhance maybe the passing touchdowns for someone like Jalen Hurts. So I do think guys like Devontae and AJ in spots are going to, eat and really, probably one of them is going to have a massive touchdown year, even bigger than before because of that. When you lose all those touchdowns, or they're going to go to Saquon. It's going to happen one or the other. So that's my take on like the tush push and Jalen Hurts from a flex perspective. He's a great play because his floor is so high just with the rushing ability in general. So you got to like the quarterbacks here. And from a captain standpoint, Jordan Love, I got all these numbers on him. Tony, one thing that stuck out to me from last year that I noticed was on dropbacks, specifically dropbacks, pressure, right? So when teams got he was the 3rd lowest pressured quarterback percentage-wise in the NFL last year at like 28% or something like that. So that means on every single one of his dropbacks, he had the 3rd lowest pressure rate of any quarterback to deal with. That just tells you a lot about Jordan Love was throwing from clean pockets, or they did a really good job of moving the pocket a lot, which was something Green Bay did a lot, especially when there was pressure up the middle from teams. They would start to roll that pocket, move that pocket out a little bit because Jordan Love is mobile. He doesn't use it as much to like run. It's not a Lamar mobile. It's more a mobile like in the pocket and roll him out of the pocket. And that's where he does a lot of damage with big plays. And the other thing I noticed, which is why I think this is a perfect matchup, the Eagles, they were better obviously against the run. You shit on them all year with the pass. The Eagles were the pretty much the team. I think they were 3rd or 4th in deep passes given up. So meaning teams were taking shots on them constantly. When I say deep passes, 20 plus yards, do you know the quarterback who led the league in deep passes last year, Tony?
Let me guess, Jordan Love.
His name was Jordan Love.
Whoa!
Thank you very much. Jordan Love had 81 20-plus yard passes that led the NFL last year. I think it was the 3rd highest percentage of passes thrown that were 20-plus yards as well. So this matchup, although the Eagles went out in the draft and got help with the secondary, they drafted the kid in the 1st round. and then another kid in the second round. The corner
They
help.
still got 2 whites in the secondary.
They got Darius Slay. I don't think they got 2 whites.
They don't.
And Darius Slay's back there, so you're good on that front. There's, you don't have to worry about that. The Cooper kid's white though, right? The kid they drafted, one of them.
I got to look at their depth chart here.
So Cooper DeJean was one of the draftees, and then Quinyon Mitchell from I think he was Alabama, right, Tony?
Alabama doesn't draft white or have whites, so that couldn't have been a white.
Yeah, no, he's not white, Quinyon Mitchell, but or Toledo. He went to Toledo, not Alabama. So,
Deej said Blankenship and Dijon, 2 whites.
I don't think they're starting Dijon though, are they?
He looks like he's behind Mitchell on the depth chart.
Yeah. I think it's Slay and Khalil Ringo might be his name. I think so. Yeah, either way, they're going to have rookies out there. They're going to use these rookies. And I think Jordan Love's just going to go after them along with Darius Slay, who is, I don't think he's the same cornerback he used to be. So this just sets up as a perfect matchup for me to target Jordan Love. I want as much Jordan Love as I can. Saquon was the other guy, Tony, at the top. What are you doing with Saquon? New team, obviously. What are you doing here with Saquon?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Saquon, I look a lot like Derrick Henry. I like him more than Derrick Henry, but similar. I mean, 9,400. I'm back to my roots in Showdown where, again, I'm not full fading like I used to in my 150. So I'm not, but man, I just think he's significantly worse than these other plays up top, both quarterbacks, the receivers, even Josh Jacobs. I like more with how thin the Green Bay backfield is with the one dude probably not going to play tonight, Lloyd. I'd be stunned if Lloyd played after he hasn't really done much work. And that opens up Emmanuel Wilson down there. But either way, I think Jacobs, and you talked about it when I had to run to the bathroom real quick, but Saquon and Hurts are going to battle for those like goal line touchdowns. Barkley could do the tush push himself. I think that's what I heard you say, but that's what I agree with too, that they could switch that up and just let Barkley go in there and do that too. I think they're going to be hurt more too with losing Kelsey. I know some people don't worry about that.
That was my take. That was my take. My take was that Jason Kelsey had more to do with the tush push than even Jalen Hurts, and it was a timing thing between the two. So it was like a center quarterback timing thing. And when you take that out, I think it's just hard to easily replace it. Like, I don't think Cam Jurgens going to come in and just be like, yeah, let's just run this tush push every single 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1. Like, I just don't think they're going to do that. That's why they brought in Saquon. This was that's one of the reasons why they went out and got someone like Saquon to hand the ball off to. And, I think they're going to do that more in the goal line situations and stuff like that. So that's kind of my take on Saquon. He definitely still has more pop than probably Derrick Henry. One bet that I really liked was Saquon Barkley over 15.5 receiving yards. I think that's a really good bet. I think they're going to want to get him the ball in space. And I think that's one of the ways to utilize him in space. I think, 15.5 seems like a nice little number that he could get over. So I do like that prop over on DraftKings Sportsbook. It might have moved since I bet it, but it was 15.5. Could be 16.5 now, but I like that over. All right, so we're pretty aligned on this range. We're lower on A.J. Brown. We like the quarterbacks. Devontae Smith is our favorite skill position guy in the 9K range. Would you go Saquon over AJ in just rankings, or AJ over Saquon?
Saquon would be my last for sure. I mean, we can say whatever we want about the tush push, but man, if they still run it the same way they did, that hurts Saquon a bunch too. I just don't love the Saquon play. I mean, it's fine. Like, again, I mean, so let's say Saquon, I got him. Let me look at ownership. I mean, 50% range. I want to be under that. I want to be like 25% Saquon. So I want to be definitely under. He would be my last rank. I would play AJ for sure over Saquon.
I'll be between 25 and 35, I think will be my That's
Yeah.
probably where I'll get with him.
That's kind of where I feel like I've gotten better over the years at Showdown too. I always used to just fade it, and then when he crushes, I'm just dead for the night. Now, I mean, play 25, 30%. Because like last night even, I was super low on those running backs like Pacheco, and I still ended up with, I think, 15% Pacheco or something. So I still had some combos that could have got there at the end if it wasn't for Likely. So even if you don't like Saquon, like I don't, you still need to get a decent amount of him.
Yep. And the other reason is because you do have cheap options that I think you can play in captain too. I don't think that there's some mid-tier guys kind of like the Worthy play. I don't think they're as good as the Worthy play, but you can kind of put them in a similar boat to the Worthy play. The problem is the Packers just have so many receivers, but if you somehow pick the right one and he goes off, he could easily be the captain winner. So we're going to get into those guys here now, but I just want to make sure I'm not skipping. Josh Jacobs. So he's the other guy. Like before I get to that like 6K and 5K range, he's sitting there at 8,200, just below Devontae Smith. We talked about Saquon. What are we doing here with Josh Jacobs? With it looks like maybe no Lloyd to back him up, so they might just have Emmanuel Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jacobs just because I don't think he's competing. I could see him getting even if Wilson's the backup, I could see Jacobs getting just all the work tonight, 3 down work, just with what we've seen in the past. The issue is I just feel he always wants to stop. I think they changed a bunch on defense, but they just are always the team that wants to shut down the run and keep things in front of them and different stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm back to my roots a little bit, just not super into these running backs. Showdown, I just always like building these pass-heavy teams, and if I want to play running backs, it's cheaper. I do like Jacobs a decent amount tonight. So let me look at what I got his.
This is my issue with Jacobs. So you got Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on the inside. I still think they're going to be tough on the interior, Tony. So that means like I think if you're going to have success running the football against these guys, it's got to be to the edges. And I just don't know. Does Josh Jacobs have like that explosiveness? Does he have it because last year it didn't look like it to me. And, obviously he crushed the year before, but then he got paid a little bit and, now he got paid again. Like, will he have it? I just don't know. So that's my one question with him. And I
just think that running backs just aren't. I mean, even last night, like these running backs got lucky to score when they did, but that's what happens with running backs. Sometimes you get the PI on the one. He could fall
to Pacheco where I thought Pacheco was the worst play, and I still kind of think he was a bad play, but he got the touchdown and he kind of fell into the production, Tony. Could Josh Jacobs fall into a similar path where he gets like 14?
Especially with all these receivers on the deep ball where they get the PI on the one, he comes in and cleans it up. I can see it coming a mile away, especially because I don't like it. It'll probably be the first damn score of the night too, where it happens and they score. Like I can just see
or he's gonna like somehow catch a touchdown for the first time in his career or something like that. And it's gonna tilt me even more.
He's never caught a passing touchdown. He had to have.
Someone posted a stat on Twitter. He's
never got a receiving touchdown.
Listen to this, if he catches 5 balls, he'll have the record set for the most receiving catches running back without a receiving.
Like him even left then. so now that you told me that, I like him definitely less.
See, now I think it's going to happen because someone put it out there. It's like right when you put it out there, like that bullshit happens.
If his numbers are that bad, I knew he wasn't a pass catcher, but if they're that bad, then there's problems. But I want to answer Andrew's question real quick. RPS 15 discount, NFL only. Yes, you can use it for NFL only. Just nothing with Saber. I don't think that stuff will work. But for the single sport NFL, without Saber, it should be good. RPS 15. If not, let me know. But it should be good.
I love it too when we got Eagles fans saying Love will carve them up. That's my favorite when we got Eagles fans saying we'll carve them up.
Jay Reed finally learned.
He's getting smarter. All right, let's get into the receiver range for the Green Bay Packers because they got a bunch of them, Tony. They got Romeo Doubs, who's he'll probably play the most from a snap perspective, one of the outside receivers. Then you got Jaden Reed, who will be the guy that is really good, but he's mainly a slot guy, right? He played, I think 75% of his routes run were from the slot last year. So he's mainly a slot receiver, but he's good. He's definitely talented. He has upside. Then they've got Christian Watson on the other side, who we know is a burner, can catch touchdowns and make big plays, always had injury issues, had him last year. But when he's out there, he can produce. And then Dontavian Wicks is the other guy. He's the fourth guy. He's 5,400. And then in between there, I'll throw Dallas Goedert from the Eagles in there. We'll throw him in there too. What are you doing with all these pass catchers, Tony? Because I know we're going to like the same rule when it comes to love quarterback, like captain teams, like two of these guys. Like you just play two of these guys with love, and it kind of fits nice. But is there anyone that kind of sticks out to you that you're like, I really like this one over the rest? Or are you just like, I want to sprinkle these guys all over?
I mean, so you literally broke it down perfect in the previous spot when you talked about it, where there's just like so many pass catchers. And if you guess right and they go off, you're in really good shape because they could be the winner. I think I'm going a different approach tonight, though. And I like to take stands at times in the captain. I think the only one I'm going to play is Reed and maybe a little bit of Wicks, but I want most of my exposure through Love, because then I can just put two guys with him. I can just, and granted, it might not end up being the nuts, but all you need to happen when you do that with Love is just have him spread it around like he wants to do anyways. Have him throw a touchdown to three different guys. Maybe he runs one in or something. You just have so many more paths. And honestly, another reason I want to is just because I don't feel that strongly about any of these guys over. I do like Jaden Reed the best, don't get me wrong. But I don't like him that much more than the rest. They're all priced the same. They're all projected pretty much the same. They're all, I would say Wicks would be the lowest owned, but they're all owned similarly. So if you have a stand on one of these guys, I think it's a great move just to jam them in there. But me, on the other hand, I like Love and the captain with two of these guys. And then Philly side, you can come back. Philly side's a lot easier because you don't have many weapons. So I think the build is super easy, but I'm actually going to take a stand on these pass catchers. I don't love it.
So, all right. I'll just tell you, I'm torn as hell on the Packers receivers because I think they're all real solid. Like I think they're all really. Now I think I do have a take on one being better than the rest, and I could be totally off on this. But why I'm torn is because I talked about Jaden Reed in the slot and how he runs 75% of his routes in the slot. Well, last year, the team that got picked on the most of any other team in the slot was the Eagles. The Eagles got picked on the most by other teams by attacking the slot receiver. That's Jaden Reed. That was Jaden Reed last year. It's going to be Jaden Reed this year. Then I talked about the deep plays. Well, who has the highest ADOT on the team? That's Christian Watson, meaning he's running deep routes. His average depth of target is one of the higher average depth of targets in the league last year when he played. He's the deep guy. He's the guy who's going to burn you over the top. And then you have Dobbs, who I think is a really solid possession type receiver. And then you get Wicks. And this is my take overall, and I could be totally off on this, but Wicks to me seems like he might just be better than everyone, but I don't know if the coaches like view him that way. I don't know if the coaches view him that way. I don't think they do. I think they rotate all these guys. I think they have Dobbs clearly one on the outside. But just when I watch him play, he looks like the best to me. That's just my take in general. It's not what I think is going to happen. So like, this is why I'm so torn on who I want to take a stand or two on, because I want to take a stand on two of these guys. And I'm going back and forth on Reed because of the routes run in the slot, Christian Watson because of the big plays, obviously, and what he does when he's out there. And then the guy I think could be the best in the lowest owned, which is Dontavian Wicks. So I'm back and forth on it right now, Tony. I was hoping you would give me like I really like this guy or that guy, so I could take at least one of them.
I think you just go with one of them, and because you like Wicks and because he's the lowest owned, I think you just go with it. Like you have to. You can't just go in here. I don't care if you're even playing 150. You can't just come in here and play every single dude. Like you can't, or you're not getting any leverage on the field. So, I like picking one. Like stick with Love mainly, and then pick one of these guys. And I honestly don't care which one. If you have a strong take on one, pick one and go with it. And maybe you guess wrong, maybe you guess right, but it truly is a guessing game. The projections tell you it's a guessing game. Everyone that you listen to pretty much will tell you it's a guessing game. But the chances are one of them probably does end up being the best guy on this team. 4 weeks from now, we probably look back and there's one guy that's a little bit better than the rest. I bet. But the chances are we don't know. I like the Wicks just because he's going to be lowest owned. And it makes
Jaden Reed. I think Jaden Reed or Christian Watson will be by far the highest owned.
Yeah, I would say Reed for sure. But I think they're all going to be similar, though, honestly. Besides Wicks, I think Wicks comes in a decent amount lower. But the rest, I think, are even. I like the Wicks call, honestly, because I was between Reed and Wicks. I just don't. Dobbs is my least favorite for sure, ranking them. I don't like Dobbs that much. But, again, I'm going to play them all pretty much field level.
And Tony, you know me, I'm going to be on the Packers side. So like all my captains are going to be Packers. So I'm not like, I'm going to take stands. It's mainly going to be against Philly than it is like, so I think for my case, I can play like 4 captains and have like 2 of these receivers in my captain pool, or even 3.
Say, like it feels like I never hardly say this, but it feels like a slate where you could almost just jam the 2 quarterbacks at captain in.
Well, because they're clearly the 2 best plays. They're clearly the 2 best plays.
You just have so many more outs. You have so many more floor. You just have so many ways it can go that way. Even the tush push kind of favors you in that path. And
I'm going to say it. I honestly don't see a path where both these quarterbacks aren't on the winner in some fashion.
It's going to be tough. The out that it would happen is Saquon somehow takes those like tush push
or Josh Jacobs or something like that. That's the out.
Much harder for me to see not on the winner though. Like I really struggle to see him not on the winner in some fashion. Hurts, I could at least make a case for it, but Love, I can't make a case for it.
Yeah, I think he's going to have success too. By the way, too, on DraftKings, Jordan Love to throw 4 touchdowns was 10-1. I hit it last night. I don't like that's a pretty solid. I don't know if it's still 10-1 now, but I thought those were pretty solid odds for someone who is. I mean, they're gonna attack them via the pass. Like that's gonna happen. And Jordan Love, even though you said he can rush, he's not a rusher, right? He's not like Jalen Hurts. He wants to throw the ball downfield. He's not looking to run. So I kind of thought that number was decent for a fun prop, if you want a little fun prop. All right, let's get past that. Oh, Dallas Goedert was the only other guy. I bet his under on receptions. It was 4.5. I bet that under. I don't really love Dallas Goedert, but Tony, are you in on it, or is this another dusty tight end that we're throwing to the side?
I always like Philly games in Showdown. I mean, they might be my favorite Showdown team because, like, I just think they only have a few guys you can play. I mean, Goddard is fine, but I mean, I'm never playing him captain in this spot. He just doesn't have the upside for me in that. And I don't want a ton in the tight end. I just think Philly's so easy. I mean, honestly, when you're starting to work your way down, I don't. Outside of just flyers, where obviously I'm going to play a tiny bit of like Gainwell and Dotson and even Shipley and these guys, I don't like any of these cheap guys. I don't like anyone from Philly. I just think they're an easy team. You play Hurts with Devontae or AJ, and then you can pop one more like cheaper guy in there. I think they're so simple.
Yeah, I think I might even make a rule just to give me at least one of the Philly studs. Like there's 3 of them. There's Devontae, who I like the most. There's AJ, and and they're Saquon. Give me one of them because I want both quarterbacks, and I think one of them produces. And it could be Jalen Hurts runs 2 in and Saquon runs 1 in, and they're the two. It could be that. So I think that's one rule that I don't normally make rules like that, but I think I'm going to do it because I do view Philly as a team that's probably super concentrated on those 3 guys for most of the season. So one of them to me
even
has
take
to hit
it
the
like
winner.
further and say one of Hurts and Barkley and one of AJ or Devontae, to where you get 2 that way. Because if Saquon really crushes, it's got to hurt Hurts a decent. And I guess in theory he could throw dump offs, but that's
his
not how
floor is still so high though. Tony, like to hit the winner in the flex is just. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe he could steal all the touchdowns.
I mean, I just struggle to see Hurts, Saquon, and a receiver hitting the winner, though.
What about this? Trevor Bryant said, would a Green Bay wide receiver in the captain with Love and 2 more pass catchers be unique? I wouldn't do that. Is more.
The only way I'm getting a build like that is if Saber just randomly gives it to me somehow.
Yeah.
It's really hard for a receiver to pay off the captain.
What does Jordan Love has? He has to throw a bunch of yards, but not throw a ton of touchdowns. Like, is that how it happens?
I mean, I just think it's really tough for it to happen.
Yeah.
I don't.
In that scenario,
play 3 pass catchers, you just have to play Love and the captain. I mean,
yes, that's what I was going to say. In that scenario, I think Jordan Love just has to be the captain.
But it would be unique though, like to that point. Like, and it is. I will say though, it is $1 million up top. There is some value to just having a random, unique team because you just never know. Yeah, like what if they run Philly special type thing? All of a sudden, the receiver throws it to the receiver type thing. So,
and especially if you're building 3 teams or something like that, like that's how you got to think. You know what I mean? Like, if you're
$1 million to first place, it's $20 to get in. You can do some weird stuff.
Absolutely. Let's see what's up. Our boy Rouse Golf, bro. What's going on, brother? How we doing? Who is the Green Bay kicker? Good question. Tony, you know who this kid is?
I mean, I know his name and Narveson, Braden Narveson. I don't know much about him, obviously, but the game's being played in a soccer stadium. The kickers, the same thing I said yesterday, though. These kickers are more expensive than they were last year. 4,400 and 5K, and these receivers, which I said yesterday with Worthy and these guys, they're just the same price. Like Wicks is 5,400. I'm not playing a kicker over Wicks. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm building 150 teams tonight. So if I end up winning and somehow I had the kicker over one of them on one team, then that's fine. But on my main teams, I'm not playing a kicker over freaking Wicks at the same price.
Yeah, it's really tough to play a kicker over someone like Wicks or something like that. It's just that's hard to do.
He must be good. Who is he, Chad? Who's this? Where's he from?
Who, the kicker?
Yeah. He's from. It says the homecoming for
him.
NC State. He played in 3 colleges. Signed with the Titans. He might suck.
Tony went from maybe to I don't know.
What's the elevation there? Is it like more elevation?
Yeah, well, it's over there. It's supposed to be, right?
Let's see. I don't know. Is it? I know it is, but like, what's it in relation to like Denver?
That's a good question. That I don't know.
Someone in chat don't know. What's it in relation to Denver, chat?
But let's see. Someone said like 2,000 feet or so.
So a little bit, but not even close to Denver.
2,500, Steven says. Like,
okay, so a little boost.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, Elliott's always up and down because they went for it a lot with the tush push. So he sometimes didn't get if they were close, he wouldn't get those like gimme field goals. But maybe without Kelsey, they won't do it as much. Maybe he'll kick more. So yeah, the kickers though I'm low on. The defenses, I don't like the Eagles defense. If I had to pick a defense, it would be the Packers.
I don't like either D in this game,
but
I'll still have some though. Again, I know I keep saying the same redundancy, but I want people to kind of understand how I'm building these days. I still will play some Ds, but I mean, I don't want much.
Yeah, the Packers D, I don't think they're like amazing or anything, but they randomly do have games where they just they
You
do
just
decent.
never freaking know when one of these Ds houses 1 or 2, and you end up having a chance to win. Again, it's a milli maker tonight. I mean, you get a random 2 touchdowns from one of these Ds. That's one way to be unique.
All right, so you don't like Kenneth Gainwell. You already talked about him. I mean, I think he's a better play than like Will Shipley if I had to choose. Like, I think they're going to play him more than Will Shipley. Marshawn Lloyd, it kind of feels like
even if he's in, I'm not playing Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean he's questionable, but he didn't. I don't think he did he practice yesterday, or maybe in limited fashion he practiced. Either way, it feels like he's highly questionable. So then you got Tucker Kraft, who they said is questionable, but I'm pretty sure they said he should be good to go. So he looks like he's going to play, unless you heard something different, Tony, about Kraft.
No, I mean, honestly, we just talked about how many good plays the Packers have. If there's one thing I'm doing tonight for sure, it is if I lose my internet, it is because it is pouring rain out there.
Yeah, if you lose your internet, then we'll just say you likely contemplated hopping off.
Had to end it after how I got on yesterday. But like in general, there's so many good plays spend up wise for Green Bay that I would rather just play those guys and fade the cheapies. And then Philly, if I did want to take a chance, like I'd be more willing to play like a Dotson at 3,200, or I mean Johnny Wilson even at 1,600. I don't think anyone's going to play him, and he's like a tall red zone type guy though for 1,600 that I could see them throwing a jump ball to him. And we've seen this so many times in Showdown on star slates where 5 guys crush and you need the one cheapie that catches the touchdown that somehow gets there that's 2% owned and someone wins $1 million. I don't like Johnny Wilson, but he's a tall receiver out of Florida State that is talented, and if they get around the goal line, they could throw it up to him. So I'd rather take chances. Who's this Packers guy that his name's Messiah? He's 200. Who's Messiah? He doesn't have a big projection, but I see him in the tight end list.
Maybe because Kraft is questionable. Maybe that's it.
Play a guy named Messiah for 200.
Because if Kraft plays, I actually think Kraft's. This is another one of my takes with the Packers, but I think Kraft's better than Musgrave. And if Kraft plays, I could see him throughout the season. It might not be game 1, but I could see throughout the season him playing more and more and more. And maybe, Musgrave plays a little less, or they play more 2 tight ends and both of them are on the field. So I think Tucker Kraft's not a terrible tight end, and he's cheap on top of it. I mean, Musgrave is like $2K more expensive or 1,800. Like I just think Tucker Kraft is a better play if he, like I said, if he's in. Emmanuel Wilson, you talked about a little bit.
If Marshawn Lloyd is ruled completely out, I think he's one of the better plays on the whole slate.
Now I got a question: if Marshawn Lloyd isn't and he's in, what's the Emmanuel Wilson ownership go to? It's got to go to nothing.
He just can't get owned that much. I mean, I'm just looking at it. I mean, he can't be more than 10%, I wouldn't think. He can't be.
Because even if he's in, like, they could just be like, he's in for emergency purposes. You know what I mean? Like, he's suited up. But, like, that doesn't mean they're going to, like, play him a bunch. Like, it still could mean Emmanuel Wilson, maybe he's the second guy still. I don't know. Like, we've seen stuff like that happen before. I know Andy Reid was like the last one in my head. It happened to CEH 2 years ago during a primetime game. I don't know if you remember that, where he was ruled in, but he didn't play. And the guy behind him just got everything. So,
yeah.
Coaches do shit
I like Wilson. At his ownership, I like Wilson either way. I mean,
all right.
When you can play 15% and be way above the field, I think that's a pretty good play because I don't think it's going to be like a Raiders situation where Jacobs just like gets totally bell cowed. He could, but I just don't think it happens. I don't know with how much
I feel
they
like the
pass
Packers
too.
run 2 running backs a good amount too.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
just the
feel like they
style
always do. Yeah, I feel like they always do. But the other guys we didn't mention, like the 5th and 6th receivers, you got Bo Melton, Malik Heath for Green
Not
Bay.
playing
I'm not
any of those
playing.
guys.
I'm not playing those guys, and I
They're
don't
too
really
deep
see.
at receiver. You just don't need
Yeah,
to do it.
and on top of it, they can play. They will play 2 tight end sets. Some like they will play those guys some together. So yeah, I don't like it either. And then the 2K stuff, I'm not playing any of these 2K guys. I just don't see anything I'm gonna play. So I'm out on the 2K guys. All right, Tony, you ready for plays of the day and favorite bets? Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's your play of the day? Give us the play of the day.
Man, so the play of the day is like somewhat tough for me today because I felt I had a lot more conviction yesterday with those Chiefs plays, but my play of the day is much more confident in Philly. AJ Brown was a quitter last year. I've always loved Devontae Smith. It's got to be Devontae for me today. 9K. I think he's going to be decent amount low owned too, like probably in the 30s ownership wise. He plays good within the script I want to play. Devontae Smith, definitely my play of the day.
Bang. All right. I like that. Devontae Smith. All right, Tony, you ready to hold up the paper?
Oh, I can't wait. I got it right here waiting.
You ready?
Yep.
My play of the day. It just has to be my play of the day. Listen, this guy.
Well, I get it right. The first slate of the year.
Listen.
We got to do it every slate to see how many I get right.
He started off his career. He had to sit on the bench. He had to learn from a smart, experienced quarterback who taught him the ways. And then he came out and he fucking smashed. Let's go, Jordan Love.
I knew you had it on under there.
Let's go.
I knew you had it on under there, baby. Yes. Says James Donkey underneath it.
And I lost my AirPods in the process, so I probably sound like shit.
Not only did I call the play, I knew you had the jersey under there.
Let's go.
People watching that, I did not know that before the show.
When you said that, I almost started laughing hysterically because I knew you had no idea I had this on.
I can't believe you had that thing on underneath that sweatshirt.
What do you mean? You said it.
I was half joking about it.
Dude, you literally almost gave it away because I almost started laughing, like out loud.
Stone face though, so I didn't think there was anything to it. I knew it was going to be Jordan Love, but I didn't know the jersey.
I started to like smile and I could feel it, and I like stopped immediately. I tried to like pull it back and like, come on, you can handle this.
I love that you had the jersey on underneath it though.
Let's go, baby. We're ready. Go, Pack, go. We're ready. We're going to win this fucking game today, too.
I am on the Packers with you for sure, though, on the actual game.
Yeah, Packers money line. Packers, -2, whatever. +2.
Pouring rain at my house. Like,
it's shitting rain.
I wish I could turn the camera to show it. I might jack up my whole system, though.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. You'll just jack everything up.
I agree with Sato. Youth XL.
This is a fucking medium. Put some respect on me, okay? It's a fucking medium. Stop that shit. It's a little big, but that's all right. It's a little big. It's fine. I'm all right. I'm not swimming in it at least.
Are you going to stand in front of the TV like that with it on?
Of course I am. I'm wearing this thing all night. This thing's not coming off until workbench tonight when the wife gets home.
You should just leave it on still. Just nothing but the jersey.
during the workbench session, just leave it on with the jersey.
Every once in a while, you got to do that. If you have a big night, I've left it on before. Just nothing but the jersey.
Do you keep your shirt on?
Not usually, but if it's a good jersey and they treated me right on a slate, you leave it on and send it in.
And I never keep the shirt on.
Shirt cocking.
I don't know about that, Yuri, but all right. Tony, do you have
Get back in the Discord. I'm going to give you one more acknowledgement until I see you in there. You don't wear. There's no way any woman wants to see Daniel Jones jersey on the bench. So you get airballed on that.
It's a good movie. Back in the day. I like it. It's a good pull. All right, Tony, favorite prop bet? Do you have a favorite prop bet for the people?
Ooh, favorite prop bet. Yesterday, I will give Mangone credit for this too. He's been helping me with some prop winners. Mahomes passing over yesterday was easy. Today, it's going to be boring, but man, over 254.5 yards for Jordan Love on FanDuel is, I like that 10-1 bet you talked about. But just as far as just a normal like prop bet, Jordan Love over 254.5. That's my prop of the day.
I love that prop. I already bet it. I bet Jordan Love 2+ touchdowns, 3+ touchdowns, 4+. I did the ladder all the way up. So I'm in on Jordan Love with the touchdowns. Also, another fun bet I couldn't help myself. I tried it with Likely. Tony, I'm so pissed. I should have done last touchdown for Likely, and I would have won because he had the last fucking touchdown of the game. But Dontavian Wicks, 22-1 right now, first touchdown. Just a fun bet. And then Tucker Kraft at 30-1. Both those guys, I think those are fun little sprinkles you can put for first touchdown at decently high odds. And their anytime touchdown numbers are nice too. I think Tucker Kraft on DK is like 5 or 6, and Dontavian Wicks is like plus 370, I think. So those are fun touchdown bets if you want them. And then I talked about the Saquon over on receiving. I like that. I like the over on yards for Christian Watson at, I think it's 38.5. It might have moved now on DraftKings Sportsbook. I like the yards, and I like the reception for Jaden Reed at over 3.5. So yeah, those are the props I got. That'll be it. So hopefully we hit these props. Hopefully we hit this game money line. Tony, anything else before we get out of here?
No, I'm excited. We got more football tonight. College starts at 7 as well. It's going to be a fun night of foots, so I'm excited. Fun weekend, too. MMA tomorrow, college all day tomorrow, obviously NFL Sunday, Monday. It's going to be a great weekend. RPS 15% off any package. Except I think the only thing it doesn't work on is single sport NFL, but every single other package, 15% off. Come hang out with us this weekend. We're going to have a huge year, too. No doubt in my mind, we're going to have the biggest football year we've had in this is our 5th year at Run Pure Football. So I think it's our 5th year because we're in year 5. So it's got to be.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
We're going to crush this year.
Yep. I love it. RPS 15, get in the Discord. The Discord was popping yesterday. It was popping today. It's going to stay popping all throughout the weekend. We got more shows. There'll be shows tomorrow. I think they're doing the Millie Roundtable show tomorrow night at like 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you like that Saturday show for football for the main slate, check those guys out tomorrow on this YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then we'll be back Sunday morning for the Morning Wood Show. We'll be back. Me, Big T, and Dub Prez will be on 10 a.m. Eastern time on this YouTube channel. And then obviously we'll have the Up to Lock show for the premium members after that at around probably like 12 o'clock Eastern time. So they'll take you guys all the way up to lock for that. So hope you enjoyed this show. Hopefully we threw a few winners in there and one of you guys ships that Millie. Until Sunday, for Big T and myself, JSU, go Pack, go baby, and Run Pure.